Okay,
Awesome.
hello, Teresa Sutherland. You've been writing for film and television for a minute now. What was it like to
Yeah.
sit in the director's chair this time for Lovely, Dark, and Deep?
Incredible. I've directing's been something that I've been working towards. It was what I went to school for, and everything. Writing was kind of an accident, which sounds really strange, but like that was I was writing for myself. I was writing, planning to direct, and then somebody who went to the same film school I did saw the shorts that I had directed and really wanted to turn it into a movie, and so they did. And that's kind of where the me being a writer came from. And yeah, now that I get to kind of hop into the director's chair, it's so exciting, and it's just everything I've wanted.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Tell me about the inspiration for that great title of the movie.
Yes, it's a poem, a Robert Frost
Ah,
poem. And I when I was like, I love titles. I love titles of things. I love to get into like the weird nitty-gritty of stuff. And
yeah.
when I was looking for like what speaks to this movie, what is here, what am I feeling for this movie, I was just like Googling like wood stuff and forest stuff and like who said whatever. And then I saw that and I read it and I kept reading it and kept reading it. And I was like, this is it. This is the heart of this movie for me, is that like we're in this beautiful place. We're in this place that's dark and it's got secrets. And then we're also in this place where we're gonna get real deep about it.
So a couple of years ago, I was having a great time watching the epic and scope folk horror documentary Woodlands Dark and Days Bewitched, and it was
Yeah.
fun to see you and Emma talking about the wind.
Yeah.
If that documentary was shot today, would you say Lovely, Dark, and Deep could fit into that documentary? Is it folk horror or folk horror adjacent?
I the strange I didn't know what folk horror was until
Right. Yeah.
until I went to go and talk in that documentary. And once I started like exploring it and looking into it and really realizing that that's just kind of like where my mind lives, it's where I go. I'm from the Ozarks. I'm from Missouri. Like
Right, right.
kind of this like bulkiness is just like part of my soul. And
Mhm.
I think if it does, I think there are aspects of it for sure. And if it does, it's just who I am, and it will come out in everything. And it'll be like psychological or slasher folk.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't know what we're doing. Yeah, exactly. It's just something that comes out. Um,
It's in your bones.
it's my bones.
Okay. So tell me about the people who worked on the sound of the movie, because I felt like it was really integral to the design of the film.
Yeah, we had a house in Portugal work on it, and then came here, and Juan Campos at Racket Sound worked on it, and he also worked on the wind, which is one of the reasons I wanted him to have a
Mm.
look at it. He just really gets like that kind of like quiet, uh,
Mm.
um, like sitting with the quiet and then having hearing something, which is when you're camping, when you're out in nature, like
Mm.
that's the thing that you don't want to happen. You don't want to be sitting in the quiet or be in your tent and hear that branch snap or hear that something, that howl that doesn't quite sound right, or for sure hear like footsteps or anything like that. You don't want that. And so it is all about that. And I feel like the wind had a lot of that too, like being quiet and listening. And he's just really great at giving your ears something to like hook on to and be like, what was that?
Yeah, it's like sort of, it's not maximalist. It sort of finds that space, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
emptiness. Nice.
Yeah. And yeah, I am obsessed with sound. I love the art of it. I
Yeah,
love what it does in movies. Like I'm a genre person. I'm always going to stay in horror and horror adjacent things.
nice.
And sound is just incredibly important in this genre.
Oh yeah, totally. So what was it like working on Midnight Mass?
Oh, it was great. Mike is incredible.
Mm.
There's that don't meet your heroes, but he's absolutely somebody who you should meet. He's totally worth meeting. Just the nicest person.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but I have friends who swear by it. So I And then I heard you're working on it. You worked on it, sorry. And so it's like, okay, well, I guess it's got a stamp.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, there's a quietness to that too. I don't think any of that has to do with me. But yeah, he just has a way of doing things that's just pretty incredible. It was a joy to work with him. Absolutely.
Nice. Have you been to Montreal before?
I have not. I went to
Ooh,
Toronto for TIFF for the
yes.
Wind,
Yep.
and loved Toronto. I'm so excited to go to Montreal. Yeah, I
It's a very
haven't.
different
I'm
vibe than
stoked.
Toronto too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've heard it's very, or yeah, it's like very European and
Yeah.
like has a very like and just so down, so ready.
Oh yeah.
Um,
It's like, yeah, like Toronto's like our New York, right? Our New York City.
yeah, yeah,
And then Montreal is like our somewhere in Europe vibe. When I
yeah.
went to Berlin, I called it the evil Montreal.
I haven't been to Berlin. I've actually only been to like Canada, Mexico. When I was 6, I went to Germany, but I don't count that. I cannot remember that.
Sure.
And then Portugal to shoot Lovely Dark and Deep.
Oh,
And so yeah, we shot in Portugal, and so I'm really like I'm craving those vibes again. Excited
okay.
for
So
it.
how long were you in Portugal for then to shoot this movie?
Uh, a little over 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah,
Did you like it there?
I did. I brought my family.
Nice.
My child was 2 at the time,
Right, right.
and um, yeah, it's beautiful.
Mm,
It was such a get for this movie because I it is about like the U.S. national parks and
right.
the places we were able to get into. Like there were times we were like, this looks just like Sequoia. This is the place you'd find at Yosemite,
Yeah.
like stuff like that, and
I
like
wouldn't
felt
know, right? I wouldn't know
yeah,
the set of Portugal. I was talking to a guy and he was like set in like an American university. He's like, yeah, we shot in Bulgaria. It's like, okay, could
like
have fooled me.
yeah.
Okay, so how do you describe your main character Lennon to people?
Lennon is searching. She is
Mm,
looking for something. She's looking to heal a part of herself 100%.
mm,
Um, and she is quiet and she's really just kind of stuck in a moment from her childhood. And until she can like face this moment down, she is she just can't move on
mm.
to anything else. And having been like stuck here and working towards something. And when the movie starts, she's finally achieved something she's been working toward, which is becoming a backcountry ranger in the park that her sister went missing in.
Would you say that characters come before story, or that story is born out of characters?
Um, I definitely think that for me, the idea comes first, and then the
Okay,
characters guide me through it.
okay.
I rely on them to tell me like where we're going, and
Uh,
it's such a it, when I talk about anything to do with writing, it feels very much like I'm insane.
do the characters talk to you in your head?
I just let them take me wherever they're going. I'm like, okay, here's where we're starting and here's where we are, and just take me where we're going because I don't
Wow.
know. And I don't like to write treatments or outlines.
Uh,
I just like to
oh
start on the
wow.
page and go and just see what happens. And then of course there's like editing and notes and editing and notes and
Sure,
editing and
sure,
notes.
sure, sure.
But yeah, that's just where I start.
That's courageous. Where do you see these characters come from? How do they come to you?
uh they're they're
Maybe
always
it's a
a
hard question
part.
to answer.
Yeah, they're always
Yeah,
a part of me. They
yeah.
have to be. But
Mhm,
I grew up camping. I grew up going to national parks.
mhm.
My We weren't wealthy at all, and so like this was a way for us to see the country and to see new things and really get experiences. And so I feel like, especially for this, like my family's in there too, and the the knee surgery part is my stepdad, and like those are my parents.
That's fun. Was there a moment when on set you were like, okay, now I'm a director? I had like a moment. where I am now a director. Like it's not like I'm not just a writer. I'm not a writer anymore. I'm a writer director.
Yeah. Well, we were in a foreign country during the pandemic. Delta had just taken off, just like found its wings
Mhm.
when we left here. And so there was a lot of other things in my brain. But when I stepped onto the set, like we had done tech scouts, which I'd been involved in other times, and we'd like casting and read through and all of these things. And when I stepped on the set, people were like, "This is your first day. You're direct, like you're making your first, you're directing this," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know. When can we start? Like, we need to go."
Yay.
It just like really felt like as soon as it was there, it was just that's what I was doing, and there was never a point where I was, and I weirdly I think the moment that might fit this the best was the movie was shot. I was back home in LA and we were getting ready to do pickups, and we shot one shot in Los Angeles and like a room of a just like a small production house,
Mhm.
and driving there to shoot a shot, I was like, I am making a movie in Los Angeles. Like for some reason, like
Hey.
that was it. Like seeing the
Yeah.
billboards and like driving there to set, like
Mm.
that moment of just like me being on my own and in the city where everything is like where
Yeah.
the dreams are, you know, just like
Yeah.
that was the closest I think to coming to that, like, oh my god. and
I am a director. Yeah.
all of the movie was like, we didn't have cast anymore, all of the movie was in the can, and it was just this like one shot. And it was like, hey guys, like
That must have been the cherry on the cake, huh?
I know, right? Or maybe it was just all of that was just hitting me all of a sudden. I'd had a moment to process, and like everything was just like coming to me all of a sudden, and things were feeling safer, and we were, yeah, my mind wasn't focused on other things too. Yeah. So
All right. Well, Teresa, thanks very much for your time. I really enjoyed
of course,
watching it yesterday. Do you have a final thought about this movie you want to end this interview with?
I really hope everybody likes it. I hope that they're able to take something away from it. It's such a it's a beautiful movie. It has beautiful scenery, and I'm just so excited to sit with people and hear their response.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you.